What's up, everybody? I'm Morgan Crosbie, and welcome to Cars and Crosby. Why do I have a big grinning face on it? Well, it may have something to do with the fact that Fishman is here, and he's brought me a Corvette. So why wouldn't I be in a great mood? It's any day that I get to have a chat with Fishman, see what's going on. He's my on-scene live reporter for what goes on down in Bowling Green. I'm excited to find out if any of this ugly stuff is down there as well. That stuff, I just got to give it a kick because I just don't want it right now. I'm over it. You know, we've had an interesting winter to say the least, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. We've got some Corvette news that we're going to be going over today. The Canucks, I've got some really exciting stuff. I know that there's some unfortunate news that you may have already heard about, that the plant is shutting down due to some transmission shortages, but you know, there's some positivity in this. You know, keep our chin up. Let's be optimistic. Everybody's in the same boat with this. I've said it before that, you know, it's not just General Motors that's feeling this. It's a global issue. You know, they've been having a major shutdown back in the fall, and we're seeing the side effects of that now. So we got, oh, get out here. This is Fishman. We got some nice split spoke carbon flash metallic rims on here. I can see it's in torch red. It's a coupe. I can tell that as well. And it's just a Stinger, it looks like. We're just gonna tell right from the calipers right away that this is just a Stingray. Fishman, how the heck are you? I haven't seen you in a dog's age, man.
We're doing well.
Well, if you could just tell me one thing, what's going on down at the Bowling Green plant? Are there a lot of cars down there? Do you see any snow on the ground? What's the situation like down there?
They got some snow. I think they removed a lot of it so that we can work. This time of year, you know, they got a few cars on the ground, you know, but just enough to keep, you know, maybe the top 20 guys, you know, keep them running.
Well, we always appreciate when you guys come down here. Thank you so much for bringing us another amazing vehicle. We're going to be inspecting this. We're going to let Fishman get on with his busy day. He's got to go down to Toronto now and deliver some more stuff. So thank you very much, Fishman. I really appreciate it. Anytime I get to talk to that guy, he's just a ball of positive energy, and I really appreciate dealing with awesome people and finding out more things about the entire process. I'm very excited to also report out that from my last episode in regards to the paint, I actually was introduced to somebody that was involved with the installation process of that paint. So we're also going to be talking about that in this episode, as I had a very interesting interview where I learned a lot of stuff in regards to the paint process that's going on in the Corvettes. If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm all in on this job. This is not just me trying to sell cars and that's it. I want to learn about the paint process. I want to learn about what Fishman's seeing down there. This is an all-in deal if you're going to be working with me. And so that is something that we're going to be talking about as well today. So without further ado, let's go right into it and start talking about some news. If you are a Canuck, you are in luck. There is a great piece that all the Americans have already received on their gift from General Motors. They got a little silhouette that was painted in the color of their Corvette with the VIN number on there, and it looks like the Canadians are going to be receiving this. I wanted to keep it to myself until I can confirm it. I have checked out with the Canadian Corvette Forum that there are a number of people that have already started to receive their silhouette Corvette gift that you get. It's a really great desk, you know, desk ornament to have, a great conversation starter. I have VIN number 141. So I'm assuming that I'm going to be getting mine very soon as well because I'm very low on it. And having said that, being VIN 141, I'm coming up to my first year anniversary with my C8 Corvette. It's really crazy to think that it has been almost a year of these adventures that I've been documenting on this channel. And when I look back at those episodes, I took a look the other day, looking at how I was filming it. You know, I was a salesperson. I had no idea how to edit videos. I hope that you guys have seen a learning curve that's pretty exponential, as I have been learning so much stuff that I never thought that a GM salesperson would ever have to learn about editing videos. I hope you guys have appreciated it. If you could give me a comment in the section below letting me know if there's anything that you think I should be improving on. I want to make sure that I can make these videos as entertaining and as informative as possible. So stay tuned. We've got a really great Corvette episode coming your way. All right, everybody. I don't think I've ever filmed an episode at home before, but I left Fishman and I had to go deliver a Yukon Denali. It was a lengthy process. It was a really good client of mine. We spent some time, and before you knew it, it was already the end of the day, and I decided to go home, and my wife said I got a package, and I am very excited because I think that this is exactly what I was just talking about earlier. about that gift. It says on here that it is a Corvette paperweight, and so I thought I would open it in front of you guys. I'm extremely excited to see what's inside of here. I don't want to wait until tomorrow to be able to open this up, so I wanted to open it up in front of you guys. So I've already ripped open this part of it, and I'm gonna go through with you guys now what's inside of here. So first things first, we've got a nice Corvette logo. So that's already a good indication that this is something Corvette related from Corvette. Cool. A box within a box. All right, so what do we got here? Let's see. I'm gonna cut this open here. This is some cool Corvette tape. I definitely want to try to find out where they got this so I can have it for my Christmas presents next year. Alrighty, so we're gonna open this up and see what we've got inside. Another Corvette thing. All right, let's see what we got here. This is kind of cool. I like that again. I gotta definitely find out where they get this stuff done so I can maybe do that for my Christmas cards next year. Ron Fellows. Morgan.crosbie. All right, it's got my VIN number on here. It says, "Thank you and welcome to the Corvette family. This first ever production mid-engine Corvette is the sum of each generation before it, but stands alone as the new Corvette standard of performance. As a Stingray owner, we hope you treasure this enclosed gift from the entire Corvette team. A speed-shaped model matches the color and body style of your Stingray with a personalized, and it is personalized with your VIN. This keepsake will surely occupy an honored place." So far, so good. As a part of this exclusive Corvette community, you were invited to take advantage of a partnership between Chevrolet and the Ron Fellows Performance Driving School at Spring Mountain Resort. All right, okay. The National, you know, let's stop right there. The Corvette Racing Academy, which is in Pahrump, Nevada, I've been talking to them quite a bit actually, because this Red Mist Metallic Corvette that we're working on right now, it actually, the owner is looking at doing a 5-point racing harness. And so I thought, what was the best place to find out where the safest application for doing this was? And I thought, you know, with the Spring Mountain facility doing the same 5-point racing harness, I might as well call them. And so using those contacts, I found out that they use a Simpson racing harness. And I'm excited to talk to the folks down there and learn more about that application, as I feel like there are a couple people that will take advantage of that at my dealership. Another thing to also note, and I don't know if it'll be mentioned in here, but if you are a Canadian, for obvious reasons, I have not been able to go down to the Pahrump, Nevada Spring Mountain Raceway to do my driving academy. It's something that GM will pay down to get you to go, so you don't have to pay a full price. I think the full price of it is around $3,500 American. It's $1,000 if you have a Corvette on order or you've purchased it. And the starting date for the timeline is 1 year. Now, with this whole COVID situation, especially for Canadians, it's been difficult for us to be able to come down to you because the borders have been closed. I've been told by General Motors Canada that they are going to be extending the time frame that you have to be able to go down to the States to go to this. For obvious reasons, you know, if you're in service, for mine, for example, was March the 3rd, I think. It doesn't make any sense that they have it for your in-service, because I'm almost at a 1-year anniversary of my Corvette right now, and they still don't even allow us to be able to go down to the States. So I really think that it's a very reasonable exception to be able to allow us to have some more time to go, as I am very excited to be able to go down there. There's a lot of things that you're going to learn, you know, just even learning on the skid pads where the limitations are and the grip on your Corvette is a very important thing to do, especially because the weight of the Corvette is now completely different than any of the previous generations. You've got so much more weight in the back. It's very important to be able to figure out where the Corvette is going to lose its traction. And so, you know, defensive driving and all that kind of stuff is a very important component to having a Corvette and driving it safely. And this is an extremely helpful tool in being able to have a lot more confidence in making sure that your Corvette stays in pristine condition. So let's continue on here. It says the National Corvette Museum is also pleased to offer you a 1-year subscription to America's Sports Car Magazine. Right on. In addition to this, the award-winning publication, you will also receive a subscription to a weekly email newsletter. Weekly, wow, okay. and it sends the link to where you can get that. Not bad. So I get a subscription and a weekly newsletter. That's not bad. And then the next thing I says here is a closed course, a Corvette and you. Thanks to the special partnership of the Ron Fellows Performance Driving School, the official Corvette driving school, Corvette is pleased to offer you a discounted rate on the one. Oh, so this is basically just summarizing exactly what I was just talking about, how you're getting a very heavy discount on that. Now, let's say that you have a spouse or a partner or a friend that is wanting to go with you to this. You can pay an additional fee to cover their insurance, and then they can ride along with you. They can either take a trip with the instructor in the front, which I highly recommend. They are absolutely remarkable in how they're able to keep their eye on you through the rearview mirror and on where they're going, all at the same time being able to beat you in terms of how fast they can go around the track. And they can have a passenger with them, which would be, your teammate, and they can, keep them entertained along the process. It's very fun to be able to include a loved one or a friend in the process. Just because they didn't purchase the Corvette doesn't mean for a nominal fee that they can't come along and experience that with you. So that's a very important piece of information to point along about that. And let's get into this a little bit further. So we've got another Corvette logo. I wore this shirt because I had a feeling we're going to see a lot of these Corvette logos, and I wasn't disappointed so far. How do we get this thing out? All right. A box within a box within a box. And Stingray. There she is. We've got ceramic matrix gray in here. It looks like there's a little tab, so we'll pull this out. And there's my VIN number on there. How cool is that? So, oh wow, it's a magnet. Oh wow, this comes off. Wow, very cool. So this is very interesting. So it's got a magnet system on here and it sticks on. Oh, I like that. That's very cool. Didn't think that was going to happen. You got VIN 141 on there, and there's my silhouette. It's a coupe. You can tell because it's got the window in the back there. That's very interesting. I'm wondering what future models will look like if they have a, let's say, 01 or something like that that comes out and it has an aggressive high wing. I wonder if those are going to have the high wing on them as well, because it did say that it was to match the spec of what I have. So this being a coupe, I can definitely see that in the Stingray, but I'm interested to see if they modify these gifts, if they continue to do it on the future models that are going to come out. So very thoughtful. Thank you very much, General Motors. Thank you very much, Team Corvette. This is the icing on the cake. I know that we're getting this a lot later than a lot of the folks down south in America, but I think that given the nature of what's going on right now, no one can anticipate that anything is going to happen on schedule. And that's not a segue to talk about the plant being shut down right now, as that's just an unfortunate event. But let's keep in mind that there are so many pieces that are involved with this process that it's not a surprise that at some point you're going to have a situation like this arise. And keep in mind as well that this is a very big machine. So you may be seeing a side effect of something that happened months ago, and we've just got to keep a positive outlook on it. So I'm going to be going into the dealership tomorrow to get that Red Mist metallic Corvette ready to go. And then we're going to take a little walk around on that entry level Corvette that I also had coming in, as it's got a good combination. It's torch red. Now, one last thing that we're going to talk about is the paint. I was very fortunate to be able to have a person reach out to me that was very heavily involved in the application and design process of the new paint shop. They are an experienced individual that is a chemist that deals with paint, and they gave me a wealth of knowledge in terms of what it takes to make a paint work. If you didn't know this, paint is not as simple as it sounds. And I talked a little bit about it in the last episode, where there was a massive upgrade that went into this paint facility. And I dropped a cool figure of $430 million. And believe it or not, that's on the cheap end of what it takes to get a new paint shop in a full production facility. And I had a lot of questions. So I'm going to summarize a couple of things. And as I go throughout the episodes, I'm sure there'll be more information that'll come about, but just to summarize a couple of the things, every single paint has different compounds in it to give it a certain color, and those can be organic or inorganic. And depending on the specific compounds that are in the paint, it will dry slower or faster. And there are specific solvents that they add to each individual paint color to make them so that they're all uniform. Obviously, you know, Corvettes have a very low production amount compared to other facilities. And so there's a lot of time and energy that's spent into making sure that each individual Corvette is done perfectly. They paint all the Corvettes in a set of colors, and that facility is a brand new facility that was updated in 2017. And it wasn't until about recently that they fully started getting the full capacity or the full potential out of this facility, because they were not only starting a new paint facility, but they were also starting a new generation. So there was a lot of growing pains. And where I'm going with this is that it is a very amazing amount of engineering and skill that's involved in the Corvette facility. And I'm going to use two examples to point out that. When a Corvette individual that works at the Bowling Green facility comes in and they work in the paint, they go through something called a crater test at the beginning of every shift. When you have dandruff, or they talk a lot about the aluminum compounds that are inside of deodorant, if any of those compounds end up landing in the paint, they change the surface tension of the paint, and then they create a crater in the paint, or what we would call a flaw. And for obvious reasons, it's a very bad thing to have happen. And so at the beginning of every shift, an individual that is involved in the paint process has to go through something called a crater test, where they physically will make sure that the individual that's working is suited up properly, and that they don't have a large amount of fallout that's going to have effect on the paint. And if that happens to be the case where they fail this test, they're sent home for the day. That, to me, was very interesting to find out, that the attention to detail on each individual person, on each individual shift, is that crucial. That just gives you an idea of how important this process is, especially because, you know, that one imperfection now means that entire vehicle is no longer going to be a fluid process along the line. The other thing that I found really interesting is that each individual color has different difficulties in terms of making the paint work for you know, the application. If it's a white, for example, which is a very easy color to paint, there's a lot of things that are different than an orange, for example. An orange is a very organic color, and that means that it's a lot thicker and it can have orange peel a lot faster. So they have to add a lot more solvents to it in order to make it a thicker process. In terms of reds, red pigment is one of the most expensive pigments that you can get, and that's one of the reasons why red mist metallic is an expensive option, is because the pigment itself and the process of applying it is a lot more intricate. Now, the next thing that I learned about was the metal flake involved in that. I did not know this, but the metal flake that is in a lot of these paints is actually aluminum. So, you know, at least it's metal. You can say it's a metallic color, and it definitely has metal in it. It's aluminum. So that was another really cool thing that I learned from this whole process, and I'll explain more of them as I go, but I just want to pass along information as I get it, as I'm very interested in learning every single angle about the Corvettes as I can. So we're going to go and see the Red Mist Metallic Corvette tomorrow. I'm going to enjoy this really awesome gift and put it on my desk. I hope you guys enjoy this segment, and stay tuned for more. All right, I'm back at the dealership. It's Friday, it's month end, things are gonna be going out, and I wanted to just document quickly while I have it here, the 1LT convertible that we got in. It's not a coupe, my mistake, guys. Speaking of mistakes, here's a big one though. I have gone almost 2 years now in not recognizing something that was already a feature, and it was something that I was pointing out that they should make a standard item, and it seems to me like already half of the models that they've been producing have already been doing this. What I'm talking about is the live stream camera system that is on the convertible 1LTs. I thought that only the 2LTs got you the live stream camera system, but it turns out that the convertible option with a 1LT will give you that live stream camera system for your mirror there. This is something that I think is absolutely critical to have on your Corvette, especially with the blind spots that are on it. It gives you a lot more confidence when you're driving this thing. For obvious reasons, with these nacelles being so big, they are a big thing that creates a blind spot. It's interesting to me to see that the convertibles have this as a standard item, but the coupes don't. I would consider them to both have a similar amount of blind spots, but I have a feeling that it has something to do with the ability to have the line be a lot more streamlined. There is a lot more time that's involved with building a convertible than it is a coupe, and I feel like if they were having more variations on the line when it came to a convertible, that was going to slow down the line even further, and so they wanted to limit the amount of variations that they had on the convertible, with it having a 1LT or a base model that didn't have it like on the coupe, as opposed to the convertible, because there is a physical difference in the actual body of the vehicle when you have this live stream camera system that's added onto it. So I feel like my gut would tell me that was to streamline the system. So without further ado, let's go through this. This is a 1LT. The options that are on this is the split spoke design. You see that we have no center caps on there right now. We just have an exposed center cap, black calipers, torch red on it. The accent is carbon flash metallic, and then we've got the adrenaline red seats, which are a standard item. These are the GT1 seats. I've always talked about this as being a cool thing that you can get. The red stitching is standard when you get a adrenaline red 1LT interior. That to me is a very nice touch. If you look at your mode selector and your steering wheel all having the same things that you would have to get on a 3LT, that to me is a very nice benefit. So this thing is going to get all shined up. We don't have a lot of work to do to this one, but we definitely want to make sure that we can get it a detail. Another thing to point out, if you guys are getting your Corvettes and they have a blank window sticker, there is a mailed version that will be coming to your dealership, but if they forget it, or maybe they happen to rip it a bit, and you are looking at keeping this as a memento for your document book, or maybe you're going to frame it, if you go to the National Corvette Museum, they will offer you one, and they can even laminate it for you and then ship it up to you. So that's something that I'm actually going to be doing, because I never got the window sticker on my Corvette. It was all through the excitement. I probably misplaced it somewhere, and you know, I just want to get a nice frame one. So I will be doing a bulk order of a couple of other people that did not get their window sticker in the local area. And also, I talked to Sally a couple days ago, and the brochures for the 21 model year are finally in. I reserved 50 brochures. They are already on their way up. I will be picking them up from the post office hopefully in a few days, paying that customs. And if you're interested in coming down to the dealership for $35 Canadian, you can grab your brochure. That's the exact cost of what it is for me to be able to get them shipped up here, pay the duty and the shipping on those, and get them to people. I tried to mail them out earlier. It takes me too much time with all the things that I got going on, and the amount of shipping that would be involved with doing it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for a flimsy coffee table kind of style book to be being brought up. I'm assuming it's going to be the same size as the 2020 brochure, which was quite large, a lot larger than a normal brochure was. So brochures are on their way out. If you're wanting to get one, you can order them from Sally at the National Corvette Museum. If you're a Canuck and you're interested in getting one for yourself and you're in the local area, come by, say hi, book an appointment with me, and we can you know, break the bread and share a shared enthusiasm for the Corvette. So I'm going to go in and see Phil now. He's doing a dual clutch transmission top up on that red Mist Corvette, and then we're going to be installing the wicker bills before we get it off to the new customer today. Stay tuned. We've got more crazy things coming on your way. All right, I'm in the back here. Phil's doing the dual clutch transmission top up. Phil, can you give me your 2 cents on what you think about this whole process?
It's not that bad of a job. It's just tricky to get the airbox off. There's a lot of connectors and things attached inside of it. And there's 2 hidden 10 mils at the very bottom where, if you don't know where to look, they're kind of a pain in the butt.
Where do you see those?
So if you look at the airbox, come on the side. They're on the bottom side of the airbox here, and they're just kind of hidden by all the wires and stuff. And on this side, it's the same thing. It's hidden by this vent hose, and it's on this side of the airbox right here, right? So
wow, so you got to have tiny hands to get in there, eh?
Yeah, well, you just kind of loosen everything off and just slowly work its way out.
So this is the top of the dual clutch transmission. We've added 2 quarts to here. Is there anything about this process that you want to note about it that's kind of unique, or is it pretty straightforward?
It's pretty straightforward. All you do, just got to take out the plug, and then you just put your funnel in there and just let the 2 quarts drain in, and away you go.
Well, that's awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed that part. We're going to go through the wicker bill application and also installing these vents here. We were a little concerned at first that this was a body color to match, but with those wicker bills being in carbon flash metallic, I think that they're going to look pretty cool, having that contrast that's accented from the scripts, the rear diffuser, and all that being in carbon flash metallic. So stay tuned. Phil's got a busy day ahead of him getting this girl ready to go for the road. All right, Phil has finished up working on the Red Mist Metallic Corvette. I've got the Torch Red convertible here as well. And then I also just finished picking up this C7 here. We're gonna talk about that one in a couple minutes, but I wanna talk about what I think a lot of people are gonna be interested in looking at, and that is a comparison of these two beside each other. Right now we're dealing with some overcast conditions. So there's the sun right over there. It's kind of coming through the clouds, but this is great. I want to show off these colors in all types of applications. And here is your first look at Red Mist Metallic under overcast conditions. It's a lot darker than it was before. And just like my ceramic matrix gray looks quite different and quite darker when I had an Arctic white Corvette right beside it, you definitely get the same kind of feel when you have a Torch Red beside the Red Mist Metallic. You definitely see the contrast. Now keep in mind, this is a non-Z51. We don't have the spoiler in the back. Phil here just finished doing the ACS wicker bill. It's an extremely cost-effective solution in terms of being able to upgrade the base Z51 spoiler. Dan Gurney was one of the first people that started doing this on his race cars to increase the downforce in the back end. And we know that this one creates about 400 pounds of downforce. I'd be interested to know how much downforce this increases the Z51 package that you have on your Corvette. I cannot honestly say that I can take credit for this styling of the black accents on the wicker bills, but when you can see all of this being in carbon flash metallic, all the back window area on the coupe, it really does look like this is meant to be with the paint to match Z51 spoiler and then doing the carbon flash metallic wicker bills on there. I just think that that's a really great combination that really looks like it was meant to be from the factory. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to have on my Corvettes, is stuff that doesn't look like it was just slapped on and poorly done. There's a lot of build quality that I can tell from the ACS composite wicker bill, and the ease of installment and the price point is something that I'm definitely going to be suggesting to a lot of customers. And if you guys are considering doing Torch Red over Red Mist Metallic, this is your first look at being able to see them both beside each other. We've got Adrenaline Red interior on this one. And then we've got the natural dipped with the carbon, the competition seats. So both extremes. These are the least aggressive bolsters on these seats. And then over here, we've got the most aggressive bolsters, and they are very stiff. So it's something that you're going to have a little bit more difficulty about transitioning in and out, especially because of these bolsters right here. It's something that you really need to make sure that you be careful with when you're getting in and out of the vehicle. Now, on to the used thing. This is the last thing for this episode. I know this has been a long one, but there's a lot of stuff to go through. I might make this into a separate segment and switch it up. So if you're watching this and it's been a long day, I apologize, but I got one more thing to talk about. Here's a time capsule. I sold this a year ago to an awesome lady. She is upgrading to a Lamborghini, thought of me, and she contacted me and says, hey, if you're interested in buying back a Stingray that you sold me, here you go. And I was all over it. I'm very excited to get another manual. I'm 4 for 4 right now on trade-ins being in manual, and I have another manual Grand Sport that's coming in today as well. And this one is an even bigger time machine. It's a 2018 Grand Sport with only 650 kilometers on it. 650 kilometers, so under 500 miles, and it's a 2-year-old Grand Sport. This is the type of things that I like to see. This customer kept all of the original packaging, the cocoon that her Corvette came in, the car cover that the Corvette came in. She didn't use the front plate bracket, but she kept it. Even the little tags that we have on the Corvette from the factory, she put them back on for me. This is the type of detail that I like to see in my trade-ins. I'm not looking to judge if someone wants to sell me their Corvette, but I obviously want to put my best foot forward on the used car lot. And to have stuff like that where it has all the original tagging, it means that if someone's looking at upgrading to a C7 Corvette, they can get almost the exact same experience that a new person that bought that Corvette originally had. And that to me is very special. You want to make that experience as fun as possible, and those types of trade-ins really help in making my job a lot easier in giving that ultimate Corvette experience. So if you're looking at the comparison between these two models, that episode is definitely going to help you out. If you're looking at a used model that looks like a time capsule, this is a great example, but I also have a Grand Sport coming in with 500 miles on it, so I'm really excited about that as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you haven't done it already, please hit the subscribe button if you want to stay tuned for more updates. If you're not wanting to stay tuned for more updates, maybe leave me a comment in the section below on how I can improve this so that I could maybe keep you guys informed in the future when I do have episodes coming out. I have about 4 Corvettes that are in the process of of getting built before the shutdown happens again. So hopefully they'll continue to ship them up. We'll have some time to meet with Fishman again and learn about what's going on in the Corvette world. Stay tuned and happy motoring.